Hey guys, and welcome into the newest episode of the 32 Team Mock Draft Series. Today we're going to be heading on over to pick 13, where we have the San Francisco 49ers, the defending Super Bowl losers, picking here. They have 2 first-round picks after trading DeForest Buckner. Now, we are doing a double upload today, so if you missed out on earlier's video, it is episode 3 of the New York Giants franchise. If you haven't been checking out that series, it's been so much fun. A lot of stuff's been happening, so please go check out those ones. There's a playlist. There should be a tag somewhere popping up. If not, you can just go check it out. It should be one of the first playlists in the on the channel. But, of course, this is the double upload. This is the second upload of the day. And we have the 49ers. I'm also trying something different here with this mock draft. I'm going to try and get through it as quick as possible because a lot of these run almost 20 minutes. And I know a lot of people don't always have 20 minutes to wait for their team. So with a team that's already in the Super Bowl, their picks are going to be kind of self-explanatory. I'm not really going to go into stats at all. I'm kind of just going to go over the players for a little bit. And they have 7 picks, and we'll get right into it right now. At pick 13, I'm selecting Jeudy out of Alabama. Now, if I'm the 49ers, I'm trading out of this for a lot of reasons. One, I think you could use a receiver like Jeudy. I think he's going to be a transcendent talent. Him, Ruggs, and CD are all 1A, 1B, 1C. I keep saying it. It just depends on who fits them the best. Jeudy happened to be the third receiver off the board for me. The past 2 picks have been CeeDee Lamb and then Henry Ruggs, so Jeudy being the third is not bad. But when you look at what they have, you have Deebo Samuel, who is a very solid receiver, very amazing rookie year for what was expected. Kendrick Bourne has a very good gig there in San Francisco. Dante Pettis still has that untapped potential. He looked like he was going to be that star that last year. Didn't pan out for it. Richie James Jr. was pretty good. They signed Travis Benjamin. They have Sean Poindexter, who had some flashes last year in training camp. Trent Taylor is a very solid receiver. So they have depth of a lot of good receivers. So why draft a receiver at this point at pick 13? If you are sitting there, and I think that Jeudy is going to be the pick, just because, like I said, I think that his ceiling is Davante Adams. He ran a 4.45 at the combine. He's got the route running impeccable. He's got great hands. He's able to use his speed. He's got deep routes, medium routes, short routes. He's able to do it all. A guy like Jeudy can help any team, and that's why I picked 13. I think he fits the 49ers, but with how much depth you have at the position, with how the offense is kind of more of a power offense than it is a air-it-out offense, I don't see Jeudy being a great fit here, not because of him, but because you have the depth. You need the draft capital. I mean, you don't have any picks in rounds 2, 3, or 4, I believe. So getting a guy like Jeudy, yes, it helps a lot. Would this help probably keep you back in contention? Of course. Do I think that you should trade down into the second round, third round, get multitude of picks? Of course I do. Jeudy's going to be the pick here, but like I said, I think they should trade down. Going into pick 31, I'm selecting defensive tackle Ross Blacklock out of TCU. Now, when you look at what San Francisco has on the defense, right now Kentavious Street is their defensive tackle with Solomon Thomas. And obviously losing DeForest Buckner is a big deal, but getting Ross Blacklock, who would be a lot higher if this draft class wasn't completely stacked, I think that he is one of the best D tackles in the draft class. I think that he's going to be a sure starter probably year 1. Out of TCU. When you look at what he brings, I mean, he's 6'3", almost 300 pounds. He's 290 pounds. So he kind of has this athleticism to him, which is really different than a lot of D tackles. You're able to put him on a 3-4 DN if you need him to be, kind of like Quinnen Williams was used last year for the Jets. This isn't a guy that's going to stat pad. He's really going to be one of those guys who's going to be able to just make an impact. He doesn't have to ever stay in one place on the line. He's able to split double teams. He's able to bend it low and get through blocks. He's able to be quick laterally. He can change his direction well. The only really big concern I have of him is that he missed all of 2018 with an Achilles tear. So he definitely has that risk. You know, everyone has a risk after tearing an Achilles. But I think the other thing he can work on is getting overpowered too much. Sometimes he ends up on the ground. But other than that, I think Ross Blacklock would be a sure starter right alongside with Solomon Thomas, fill that DeForest Buckner role very well, and be a solid pick at pick 31. This is a guy that I think, I mean, even if you never did that DeForest Buckner trade, would have just been a great best available pick at this point. So pick 31, I'm getting Ross Blacklock. Now going all the way to 156, I'm selecting LSU guard Damien Lewis. Damien Lewis is one of those things where you might as well draft a guy from a big name school because you know that they produce pretty well. But Damien Lewis is kind of one of those guys where he's going to be a later round guy, and it's not really his fault. He's big, he's girthy, you can tell from him. Obviously, LSU is one of the best this last few seasons has been one of the best college programs we've seen in a long time. Especially last season with Joe Burrow, Edwards-Helaire, Jamar Chase, just an insane team. but he's able to hold his own. Some of his best tapes were against Raekwon Davis and Derrick Brown, who are two beasts of D tackles coming into this year's draft. He's got strong hands. He's got a wide base. He's controlled. He's never really going to get bull rushed because of that big frame, which is really good. The only problem with that is because of that frame, he doesn't really have the athletic ability to be pull as a guard or for outside zones. He's not really able to do that. His hands are a little bit outside too much, so people can get inside and just smack him down, get through the blocks pretty quick. So he's got to learn a lot. But getting him as a depth piece would not be bad at all. When you look at what the 49ers have on the offensive line, it's definitely very solid. Laken Tomlinson has been a beast there. I'm not sure how I feel about Brunskill at right guard. They have Tom Compton there as well, so there's different things. But adding a guy like Damien Lewis, I think that he can develop and he could definitely become a starter. Maybe he wins out the job at right guard in training camp, and I don't think he would be a liability next to Richburg and McGlinchey. But this offense is really stacked. As the offensive line, so I think that getting a guy like him just to progress over the few years, be a solid backup, is all you really need to ask him for, and then step up when need be. I think Damien Lewis can do it. Now on to pick 176. I've been getting safety Kavon Wallace out of Clemson. Another one of those things where if the program ain't broke, why not take their prospects? This is a later round guy, but from a school like Clemson, especially with how Clemson's defense plays, he definitely can make an impact. Some things I really like about his game. He played a lot of safety, but overall he was playing in the nickel a lot too in 2019. So he was able to be a blitzer, he would come in and just smack the run. He was able to be getting the blind side as a quarterback. He's very built. You can tell he's got a very aggressive demeanor. He's very strong with his build. So he's able to blitz very hard. He's able to clog up with presses. He doesn't just pop on his hits. He really finishes his tackles well. He also had a lot of ball production in 2019, which is very good to see. So he has a lot of talent as a rusher. Obviously, the things that he could work on is what his position is really known for, and that's covering. So having him be an in-the-box safety wouldn't be too bad. I think that would be – you could probably convert him to a linebacker if you really wanted to. Obviously the 49ers have Quan Alexander at the middle linebacker position and Fred Warner, Greenlaw as well. But you could transition him to be that kind of guy, that sub-linebacker package. I think he can definitely move around. But getting him – I think that would be really good. There's not really too much linebacker depth. Joe Walker and Joey Alfieri are pretty much the only other inside linebackers they got. So having him be a sub-linebacker would be probably really good for him at the NFL level. Kind of what Isaiah Simmons, he's kind of the opposite of Isaiah Simmons. He's looked at as a safety but can play linebacker. Isaiah Simmons is looked as a linebacker but can play safety. So I think that getting a guy like Kavon Wallace at 176 would fit out very well. You have an athletic freak on the defense. You put him wherever he fits, and you have another weapon for your eventual hopeful Super Bowl run 2.0. Now going on to pick 210, I'm selecting wide receiver Joe Reed out of the University of Virginia. This is a guy where it's a depth piece, it's a special teams piece. When you get this late into the draft, you're just looking for depth. This guy could probably win a spot on the roster, but like I said, I think it's a special teams move. He's probably going to be a very good special teams guy at the next unit. He can return, which is one of the best things, one of the reasons I have him on here. But also, like I said, it's just a lot of depth. You can move him around. You can see what he can do. At 210, you're not really looking for, the next Jerry Rice. But he was one of the best special teamers at Virginia. He was a core special teamer, kick and punt return cover. He had talent in that. He's really good at kick returning. He has good vision. He doesn't have much fear in his return game. So getting a guy like him, especially with what we've seen Marquise Goodwin go through the past few years, what's his name? Jerick McKinnon hasn't been healthy. Those are guys who you would want as your return men, and they just haven't been able to be there. So his pass catching is solid as well. He has a lot of versatility as of position-wise. You can move him around kind of like how you did with Deebo Samuel last year. So I think that versatility is going to help him make a roster, if not the 49ers, some roster. These late day 3 picks, a lot of them don't even pan out on the roster, but I think a guy like him, with what he can do for special teams, will end up making a roster. Moving on over to 217, I'm selecting Casey Toohill, the outside linebacker from Stanford. Now, another guy where it's going to be a depth piece. You just need more linebackers on the roster just in case. Quan Alexander went out last year. You need somebody to fill that hole a lot better than what it was. This is just outside linebacker, but I think that getting more depth is key. Once again, another guy you can use on special teams. He can be able to be that guy to go down on kickoffs, to be on the line on punts. There's different things he can do. He ran a 4.62 at the combine, so he's got the speed to be able to do that. when you look at what I think that he is good at, he's got the muscle mass. He's built enough to be an outside linebacker. He had 11.5 tackles for loss and 8 sacks in his first year as a starter, which is very good. That was a big positive for him. He's got a pass rush that is very good. He pretty much hits quarterbacks very hard. He's able to get the ball out if he can. And he also blocked 2 extra points. Once again, day 3, you're looking for guys who can impact on special teams. I think this is a guy who can do it. You're obviously not going to ask him to be the next Nick Bosa on the line, on the edge. But getting him as another depth piece will be very solid. Then moving on over to pick 245, I'm getting Nick Coe, defensive end out of Auburn. Once again, depth. I know you're probably annoyed at me saying it already, but this is just a guy who is going to be able to fill a hole, if anything, on the defensive line. If injuries start to go down, I think he's just able to be a plug-and-play kind of guy, at least take a blocker out of the play and do that pretty well. He has got a good frame. He's able to get through blocks, but overall, this is a guy where you're really going to ask him to be a depth piece. You could probably progress him into being a solid rotational starter within a couple years, but overall, I don't see him having the talent to just jump in and be a starter right away, which you're not going to expect him to be when he's 10 picks away from being the last pick of the draft. But that is going to be it for the 49ers 7-round mock draft. Let me know how you think about this kind of condensed version of it. Was it as good as the other ones I've done? Was it worse? Was it better? Was it the same? You can just let me know in the comment section below. It would help out a lot. Of course, if you did miss earlier's upload on the Madden video, please go check those out. They have been so much fun. I'd love to see more feedback on those videos. They haven't been getting as much outreach as other videos on the channel, like the mock drafts, which is understandable, but I think it has been such a fun series to watch, so be sure to check that out. Let me know what you think about the video today as well. If you're a 49ers fan, let me know what your mock draft is and what you would do with the 13th pick. Do you want a Jerry Jeudy? Do you want someone else? Do you want to trade down? Let me know in the comment section below. If you did enjoy the video, please leave a like and subscribe. If you didn't, refresh the page and check it out one more time. Let me know how you think about it the second time. And that's going to be it for me. Without further ado, I'll see you guys in the next one.